Why does your cat suddenly act like you don't exist, right after you thought you were having a moment? One minute, they're all cuddles and purrs, and the next, they're glaring at you like you just ruined their entire day. Well, here's the truth. Cats have boundaries, quirks, and pet peeves that most owners don't even realize. And if you keep making these mistakes, your feline might be holding a silent grudge against you. But don't worry, we're about to reveal 20 things that secretly drive your kitty cat crazy, starting with one that almost every cat owner is guilty of. Number 20. Ignoring their personal space. Would you enjoy someone barging into your room, plopping down next to you, and smothering you with hugs when all you wanted was some peace? That's exactly how your kitten feels when you invade their personal space at the wrong time. Unlike dogs who might welcome endless cuddles, felines operate on their own terms. When they want affection, they'll let you know through slow blinks, gentle headbutts, or curling up beside you. But if you try to scoop them up while they're mid-nap or force a snuggle session when they just want to chill, expect an irritated tail flick or a swift escape. And here's the thing, ignoring their signals doesn't just annoy them, it can make them resent you. Over time, a cat that feels constantly smothered might start avoiding you altogether, but be careful, giving them too much space can also hurt their feelings. So how do you find the perfect balance? Well, that depends on whether you're making this other mistake that most cat owners don't even realize. Number 19. Inconsistent feeding schedules. Why does your tiny tiger act like you just committed the ultimate betrayal? Over dinner? Cats aren't just picky eaters, they're creatures of habit. Their internal clock is sharp, and if food doesn't arrive on time, they know. Miss a meal by even an hour? Get ready for dramatic stares, impatient meows, and possibly a protest knock-off-the-counter move. Unlike humans who can adjust their schedule with a quick snack, cats rely on consistency for security. When mealtime shifts unpredictably, it creates stress, and stress can lead to real issues, like digestive problems or even behavioral changes. And don't think they'll just forgive and forget. Cats remember. If they expect food at 8 a.m. and it shows up at 9, trust that you'll be hearing about it all day. But if an off-schedule breakfast annoys them, wait until you see what truly rattles them, because nothing gets a cat's heart racing faster than something we barely even notice. Number 18. Loud noises. Why does your butterball suddenly vanish like a ninja the moment you turn on the vacuum? Or why do they bolt under the couch when fireworks go off? It's not just because they're scaredy cats, there's something deeper going on. Unlike humans, felines are wired for survival, and their hearing is insanely sharp, almost ultrasonic. Sounds that seem normal to you can be absolute chaos for them. A loud noise isn't just annoying, it's a potential threat. Their instincts tell them to flee before they even process what's happening. Even something as simple as clapping too loudly or speaking with too much excitement can make them uneasy. But it's not just their ears that are sensitive. Cats have another sense that's just as powerful, maybe even more so. And this next one, it's a deal breaker for most felines. If you've ever noticed your cat recoiling at something you can barely smell, get ready, because this is one thing they absolutely cannot stand. Number 17. Strong scents. Why does your fluffy pet suddenly recoil when you walk by? No, it's not your morning breath, it's that strong perfume you sprayed, or the citrus-scented cleaner you just used. A cat's nose isn't just good, it's 14 times more powerful than yours. That means what smells pleasant to you might be an absolute nightmare for them. Citrus? Pure horror. Vinegar? A personal attack. Even certain essential oils can make them feel like they're drowning in an invisible stink cloud. And don't think they'll just put up with it. If they associate a spot with a smell they hate, they'll start avoiding it completely. Yes, even if it's their favorite nap zone. That cuddle spot on the couch? Say goodbye if you douse it in lavender spray, but smells aren't the only thing that can drive your cat away. Because if you think they're picky about scents, wait until you hear what happens when their bathroom isn't up to their standards. It's worse than you think. Number 16. Dirty litter boxes. Would you want to use a filthy bathroom every day? Probably not. Well, neither does your kitty. Their sense of smell is far stronger than yours, and what seems tolerable to you is disgusting to them. A dirty litter box isn't just an inconvenience, it's an insult. If it starts to smell, they'll start searching for alternatives. And trust me, you won't like where they choose. Your fresh laundry, that cozy rug, even your bed, all fair game when their actual bathroom is out of order. And it's not just about odor, a neglected litter box can stress them out, leading to anxiety, overgrooming, and even health problems. Ever noticed your sharp-clawed cuddle monster scratching at the floor around the litter box instead of going in? That's their polite way of saying, "Clean this up, human." So if you don't want a rebellious feline leaving surprises where they shouldn't, keep that box spotless. But if you think that's the only thing that'll set them off, wait until you hear about one of the biggest mistakes cat owners make, especially when it comes to their belly. If you're just as shocked by what secretly annoys your cat, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And trust me, you won't want to miss our next video, because the next thing on the list, it's something every cat owner does without even realizing it. Number 15. Belly rubs. For most cats. Why does your mischievous ball of fluff roll onto their back, stretching out like they're inviting you to rub their belly, only to attack the second you try? It feels like a cruel trick, doesn't it? But here's the truth. That exposed belly isn't an invitation. It's a display of trust and a defensive position at the same time. Unlike dogs who love a good tummy rub, most cats see it as a violation of their personal space. Their belly is one of the most vulnerable parts of their body, packed with vital organs, and if you reach for it, their instincts take over. Claws out, game over. And just when you think you understand their body language, there's another sign cat owners misinterpret all the time. Ever tried locking eyes with your feline and getting an icy stare in return? Be careful, because what happens next might make you rethink the way you interact with your cat altogether. Number 14. Staring directly into their eyes. Would you challenge a lion to a staring contest? Probably not. But guess what? Your purring sidekick sees things the same way. In the feline world, locking eyes for too long isn't a friendly gesture. It's a direct challenge. Unlike humans who use eye contact to bond, cats interpret it as a sign of dominance, even aggression. When two cats stare each other down, it usually ends in a fight or one of them backing off in submission. So if you catch your kitty holding your gaze without blinking, it's not admiration. It's a silent standoff. The best way to show trust? A slow blink. That's the feline version of a warm smile. And if you're wondering what really makes them uncomfortable, wait until you hear this, because nothing makes a cat's dignity vanish faster than being stuffed into a tiny costume. And yet, so many owners do it. But should you? Well, let's just say your cat has some very strong opinions on this one. Number 13. Dressing them up. Would you enjoy wearing a thick winter coat indoors, even when it's warm? That's what dressing up feels like for most cats, except worse. Their fur is designed to regulate body temperature, and squeezing them into tight outfits disrupts their natural movement. Unlike humans who might wear clothes for fashion or comfort, cats experience clothing as a restriction. The moment you slip that adorable sweater over their head, their instincts kick in. Suddenly, they feel trapped, vulnerable, and desperate to escape. Some cats even freeze up completely, refusing to move as if they've been paralyzed by the sensation. And hats? Don't even get started. Covering their ears blocks out vital sound cues, making them feel disoriented and uneasy. Sure, a quick photo might seem harmless, but to your feline friend, it's a moment of pure stress. And if you think that's uncomfortable, wait until you hear about another common mistake, one that involves water, soap, and a whole lot of unnecessary drama. Number 12. Overbathing them. Why do so many people think cats need constant baths? If you had a built-in self-cleaning system, would you enjoy being dunked in water? Probably not. Well, your feline feels the same way, except for them, it's 10 times worse. Cats are meticulous groomers, spending nearly half their waking hours keeping themselves pristine. Their tongues are specially designed with tiny barbs that remove dirt, distribute natural oils, and keep their fur in top shape. Forcing a cat into unnecessary baths strips those oils away, making their coat dry and uncomfortable. And let's not forget, most cats loathe water. Unlike dogs, they don't splash around for fun. Instead, being soaked is a stressful, almost primal fear. Sure, there are a few exceptions, looking at you Maine Coons, but for most felines, bath time is pure horror. But while some cats crave their independence, what happens when you start smothering them with attention? If you think more cuddles always equal more love, wait until you hear what too much affection can do. Number 11. Too much attention. Why is it that the more you smother your cat with love, the more they pull away? Unlike humans, who often crave constant affection, cats are wired differently. Sure, they enjoy your company, but on their terms. If you keep scooping them up, covering them in kisses, or refusing to let them have a moment of peace, don't be surprised if they start avoiding you like you're the vacuum cleaner. For a cat, too much attention can feel suffocating. Their instincts tell them they need control over their space and interactions. If they feel like they can't escape, their trust in you can actually weaken. The trick is balance. Let them come to you, and they'll love you even more for it. But here's the twist. While too much attention can drive them away, ignoring them completely can be just as bad. And if you think your independent kitty doesn't mind being left alone for too long, you might be in for a surprise. Number 10. Ignoring them for too long. Why do some cats suddenly knock things off tables or stare at you with that unreadable expression? You might think your feline friend is just being their usual independent self. But what if they're actually trying to tell you something? Cats may have a reputation for being aloof, but they're far more social than most people realize. Ignoring them for too long isn't just a minor annoyance. It can genuinely make them feel lonely and frustrated. Unlike humans, who can distract themselves with TV or scrolling through their phones, a cat depends on interaction to stay mentally stimulated. If they feel neglected, they might act out in unexpected ways, like meowing excessively, following you everywhere, or even causing trouble just to get a reaction. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear what happens when you take away something even more important, something that taps into their very instincts and survival instincts. Because if you don't let your cat climb, well, let's just say you're in for some surprises. Number 9. Not letting them climb. Why do cats always want to be up? Whether it's the top of a bookshelf, the fridge, or even your shoulder, felines seem obsessed with getting as high as possible. But this isn't just for fun. Climbing is deeply wired into their instincts. In the wild, a high vantage point means safety. It's the perfect spot to watch for danger, stalk prey, or simply survey their kingdom. When a cat doesn't have access to elevated spaces, it can make them feel anxious and trapped, leading to stress behaviors, like knocking things off tables just to make room for themselves. And if you think stopping them will work, good luck. No cat has ever been told no and simply obeyed. If there's no designated climbing spot, they'll make one, even if it means clawing their way up your curtains or launching themselves onto your back. So if you've been keeping your cat grounded, think again. But climbing isn't the only thing your feline friend is particular about. And if you ever mess with this next one, well, let's just say you might regret it. Number 8. Disrespecting their tail. Would you be okay if someone yanked on your arm or kept poking at it while you were trying to relax? Probably not. Well, for a cat, their tail is even more sensitive. It's an extension of their spine, packed with nerves that help them balance and communicate. When you tug, step on, or even over-pet their tail, it's not just annoying, it's uncomfortable, even painful. Some cats might tolerate a gentle touch, but too much, and you'll get flicks, swats, or a full-on retreat. And don't be fooled, just because a cat playfully swishes their tail near you doesn't mean it's an invitation. That movement could mean excitement, irritation, or even a warning to back off. Misread the signs and you might get a look that says, "I trusted you and you failed me." But if you think tail offenses are bad, wait until you hear about the one thing that can turn even the most playful cat into a grumpy, unamused predator. Number 7. Unwanted playtime interruptions. Why do cats get so laser-focused when they're hunting a toy like nothing else in the world exists? Ever tried calling their name mid-chase only to be completely ignored? That's not them being rude, it's instinct. When a cat locks onto their prey, their brain flips into full predator mode. Every fiber of their being is tuned into the hunt. Interrupt them at the wrong moment, and it's like yanking a championship boxer out of the ring mid-fight. Imagine being deep in a thrilling action movie and someone suddenly pauses it to ask about dinner plans. Annoying, right? That's exactly how your feline feels when you break their hunting flow. Even a simple tap on the head can be enough to frustrate them. Let them finish their hunt, and they'll come to you when they're ready. But speaking of frustration, nothing riles a cat up more than being picked up like a baby. If you think your cat enjoys it just because they tolerate it, well, you might want to hear this next one. Number 6. Being held like a baby. Would you enjoy being scooped up off the ground and flipped onto your back like a helpless burrito? Probably not. Well, neither does your cat. Being cradled like a baby might seem adorable to you, but to them, it's a full-on crisis. In the wild, the only time a cat finds itself on its back is when it's fighting for its life or losing one. That instinct doesn't just disappear because they're domesticated. Even the most affectionate feline might stiffen up, wiggle away, or go full ninja claws if you try to hold them this way. Some cats will tolerate it for a while, but make no mistake, it's not their idea of fun. The moment their patience runs out, expect an acrobatic escape and maybe even a little revenge later. But if you think that's the only way you're unknowingly stressing them out, just wait. Because if you think cats hate being flipped upside down, wait until you hear what one tiny change in your daily routine can do to them. Number 5. Sudden changes in routine. Why do cats act like tiny control freaks when even the smallest thing changes? Move their bed, shift their food bowl, or, heaven forbid, bring home a new pet, and suddenly they're glaring at you like you've shattered their entire universe. Unlike humans, who can, mostly, adapt to changes, cats thrive on predictability. Their world is built on routine. Same spots, same smells, same daily rituals. When something shifts, even slightly, their stress levels skyrocket. A different brand of litter? Suspicious. A new couch? Highly offensive. A new pet? Borderline betrayal. They need time, sometimes lots of time, to process and accept what's new. So if your cat starts sulking, hiding, or even ignoring their food after a sudden change, don't take it personally. They're just recalibrating their world. But if you think that's dramatic, wait until you hear this, because nothing triggers their inner diva quite like this next offense. Number 4, not cleaning their dishes. Would you drink from a glass that hasn't been washed in days? Your cat feels the same about their food and water bowls. Leftover crumbs, dried up food, and that slimy residue? It's not just gross, it changes the taste and smell of their meals. And considering how picky cats are with their food, a dirty dish might be enough to make them walk away entirely. But here's the real kicker. Bacteria love damp, leftover bits. Your feline's whiskers might be touching something invisible but dangerous every time they eat or drink. And if their water smells off, forget it, they'll just dehydrate themselves instead. So if your furry overlord gives you that disgusted look before walking away from their dish, it's not attitude, it's standards. They expect fresh, clean service. But even if you're keeping those bowls spotless, don't assume every form of affection is welcome, because if you're petting them the wrong way, oof, you might be making them secretly hate it,